It's Saturday, January 24th, 2026, and we are right in the middle of this massive winter storm. But we've still got a long way to go before this historic event is over. The situation continues to evolve rapidly, and what we're seeing develop is absolutely unprecedented for many regions across the United States. Starting with our day one winter storm outlook, we have an expansive enhanced risk stretching from New Mexico all the way over into Virginia. At some point today, everybody in that purple area will experience freezing rain, snow, sleet, or all of the above. That includes Dallas, where it's snowing right now. San Antonio is getting hit. Oklahoma City is buried. Bentonville, Arkansas is seeing heavy accumulation. Louisville, Kentucky is getting hammered. And Nashville is experiencing very heavy snowfall right now. The system extends all the way over to Lynchburg in Virginia. Down in our moderate risk zone, the 4 out of 5 impact area, this is where we expect the most extreme conditions today. And it's not because of snow at all. It's entirely because of ice accumulation. We've been warning about this scenario for days, and today is when it becomes reality. This is the day of the devastating ice storm for Shreveport, Monroe, Greenwood, Oxford, and extending up toward Tupelo, Mississippi. Get ready for ice accumulations reaching 3/4 of an inch, with some locations potentially seeing a full inch of ice. The significance of these numbers cannot be overstated. We'll break down exactly what this means for infrastructure and daily life in just a moment. Looking ahead to tomorrow, we're expecting moderate impacts from Louisiana all the way through the Ohio Valley, extending into the Appalachian Mountains toward the mid-Atlantic, southern New England, and interior Northeast. This will be a combination of ice, snow, and freezing rain, creating a complex and dangerous situation. Most areas on the northern side will experience heavy snow, while we'll see mixed precipitation in the central corridor, and our primary concern remains the ice accumulation zone. The Day 3 outlook shows this system finally moving out Monday into Tuesday. However, early Monday will still bring heavy snow, causing significant problems from Boston into Maine, with residual ice issues persisting from Charlotte up to Richmond. The impacts from this storm will extend well beyond the active weather period. Here's what our radar forecast shows for tonight around 8 p.m., likely when many of you are watching this video. We're looking at a widespread area of freezing rain extending from the Mexico border all the way up to the Kentucky-Tennessee border. This will impact places like Austin, Texas, San Angelo, and Dallas. The freezing rain will also affect Oxford, Mississippi, where some of the heaviest ice accumulation is occurring, potentially over 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. The freezing rain will be particularly intense across Nashville, Jackson, Clarksville, and extending over to Knoxville. This is exactly what we don't want to see. Ice accumulating on power lines and trees throughout the overnight period. The weight of this ice accumulation poses a severe threat to electrical infrastructure across the region. Meanwhile, at 8 p.m., we'll still have all snow conditions in Oklahoma City, Lubbock, Bentonville, Kansas City, Springfield, St. Louis, Springfield, Illinois, Louisville, Lexington, Pikeville, Maysville, Cincinnati, and snow will just be starting in Columbus and areas west of Richmond. Pushing forward to Sunday at 9 a.m., our massive ice storm will be in full swing. Power outage problems will be widespread from Jackson, Mississippi, up to Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and back into Memphis. From the time freezing rain begins in Nashville through 9 a.m. Sunday, we're looking at a relentless, non-stop freezing rain event that could last 12-15 hours continuously. There's one factor that could save us from an even more catastrophic ice storm in the Clarksville and Nashville area: a significant warm nose in the atmosphere. This warm air layer is actually keeping Knoxville, Chattanooga, and Huntsville relatively ice-free. While it's snowing heavily in many of these areas right now, it will transition to plain rain before too long, which will reduce ice and snow accumulations. If this warm air mass ends up being thicker than currently modeled, something we discussed as a possibility yesterday, it could extend into Nashville and reduce ice storm impacts by washing away accumulated sleet and ice. We're really hoping for a wider column of warm air moving up the northwestern side of the Appalachian Mountains. Unfortunately, this same warm air intrusion means less snow accumulation in areas like eastern Kentucky. While we'll see significant snowfall today before the ice begins, much of it will get washed away. However, the thicker that warm air column becomes, the better off Nashville will be. The trade-off is that it pushes ice problems farther west, potentially affecting Memphis, Jackson, Clarksville, Bowling Green, and possibly even Lexington, Kentucky. Just yesterday, many forecasters were predicting 15 inches of snow for Lexington. We predicted 7 inches because we anticipated this warm air layer would be thicker than modeled. It appears our analysis was correct. Lexington will likely switch from snow to sleet sometime early Sunday morning, significantly reducing total snow accumulation for snow enthusiasts in that area. I believe Evansville, Louisville, and Cincinnati will still receive substantial snow totals, but Lexington faces that challenging transition zone. The same applies to everyone along the I-64 corridor between Lexington, Huntington, and Charleston. Snow begins in Richmond, Virginia by 11 p.m. Saturday. Washington, D.C. will start seeing snow around the same time, with heavy snow developing by 6 a.m. Sunday. Columbus, Pittsburgh, Wheeling, Morgantown, and Elkins will experience moderate to heavy snowfall during this time frame. New York City will start seeing snow by 6 a.m. Sunday. Washington, D.C. will transition to sleet and freezing rain around 11 a.m. Sunday, creating absolutely treacherous travel conditions. Imagine 3 to 4 inches of snow followed by sleet, then rain falling on that sleet while temperatures remain below freezing. It's going to be a complete nightmare for anyone on the roads. Heavy snow will hit New York City around 4 p.m. Sunday. There's a slight chance of a changeover to sleet, but I'm still hoping for a slightly more southern storm track that keeps New York City all snow throughout the duration. Boston will definitely remain all snow and could see well over a foot of accumulation. Updating our ice accumulation forecast, nothing has changed significantly from our previous projections. We're still expecting potentially over 1 inch of ice accumulation in south-central portions of Middle Tennessee. Some areas could see 3/4 of an inch to 1 1/4 inches of ice, with even higher amounts possible farther south and west near Tupelo, extending down toward Greenville, Rolling Fork, and Lake Providence, Louisiana. This represents our #1 hot zone for potential ice problems. Prolonged power outages lasting days or even weeks are very possible in this corridor. Everyone in the pink-shaded areas could experience ice-related problems. Even just 1/10 of an inch of ice creates very dangerous travel conditions and causes intermittent power problems. We're expecting potentially over 1/2 inch of ice across northeast Georgia, northwest South Carolina, and into North Carolina. This region will be hit particularly hard because of infrastructure vulnerability. We actually have a confirmed report that the Waffle House in Greenville is closed, and they don't close unless conditions are going to be truly severe. The reason even 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of ice is so problematic in the southeastern region is infrastructure placement. Power lines run through hills and trees, making them extremely vulnerable to ice loading. Driving on icy hills creates additional hazardous conditions that compound the danger. At this point, it's really too late to prepare if you haven't already. This storm has received extensive coverage, and I believe everyone in the impact zones is aware of what's coming. Hopefully everyone is prepared rather than scared, and I'm hoping for the best possible outcomes. One factor that might help reduce ice accumulation is precipitation intensity. If freezing rain falls as heavy downpours rather than light mist, less ice may actually accumulate on surfaces because the precipitation is falling too fast to efficiently freeze and build up. These will actually be convective showers, thunderstorms producing what we call thunder ice, thunder sleet, and thunder snow. We'll actually have regular thunderstorms tomorrow as well. There's a slight risk of severe weather across portions of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and the Florida Panhandle. This includes a 5% tornado risk, a fascinating meteorological setup where the same system producing blizzard conditions in the north is generating severe weather in the south. As the cold front moves through, there will be enough atmospheric lift to potentially spawn multiple supercells capable of producing tornadoes. The squall line itself will be capable of producing QLCS tornadoes, tornadoes embedded within the line of storms rather than dependent on individual supercells. For snow accumulation forecasts, if you're a snow enthusiast, the national blend of models shows the higher end of possibilities. We're still looking at 16-18 inches of snow for Boston, with some models suggesting 2 feet. A deformation band could drop snow at 3 to 4 inches per hour, creating incredible accumulation rates. Albany could see up to 19 inches, and much of New York State could receive over a foot of snow. However, along the I-95 corridor, the warm nose begins to impact totals. New York City could still see 10 inches, Philadelphia 8.9 inches, and Washington and Baltimore 7 to 8 inches, though these numbers could be lower if sleet and freezing rain mix in more than currently forecast. Pittsburgh could see 14 inches, Columbus 13 inches, Cincinnati 14 inches on the high end, with Louisville and Indianapolis receiving 12 inches. Some models show up to 12 inches for St. Louis, though I expect slightly less. Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and surrounding areas will see an additional 8 to 9 inches on top of what's already accumulated. After this storm passes, the Arctic high-pressure system driving this entire event will settle across the southeast, bringing near-record cold temperatures. It will be colder than it's been in over a decade across Memphis, Nashville, Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, and East Texas. If temperatures drop to 10 degrees or below zero while power is out and people lack alternative heating sources, we face a truly dangerous situation. Check on elderly neighbors, bring pets inside, ensure you have non-electric heating alternatives, and know the location of warming shelters. This cold pattern will persist for 6 to 10 days across the southeast, with temperatures significantly below average. There are already signals for another major storm system developing, which we'll discuss in future updates once we're through the current event. Winter has truly arrived and locked in across the region. The combination of devastating ice, heavy snow, and prolonged Arctic cold creates a dangerous and historic weather pattern that will impact millions of people across multiple states.